Welcome to the Fluid Mechanics Gate Coaching class, second class. So in the previous class, we have seen the difference between solid and fluid, how far the fluid is differ with solid. In this class, the basic properties of fluid we can see. So we have an fluid properties. The basic properties are classified into two: intensive properties and extensive properties. So intensive property and extensive properties are mainly based on the independent of mass. So you have a mass independent in the sense that properties are intensive. If it is depending on volume or the mass, that is not extensive property. So we have a small example how to identify the properties as a intensive or extensive. So you have a small system. The system is occupied with the fluid having a some mass m. Similarly, volume V, then temperature T, and pressure P, and density rho. These are the system parameters, properties we can measure in the particular system. If you're dividing this system into two part or two compartment A and B, so what happened to the properties we mentioned in the previous one? Here you have a properties mass, volume, then temperature, pressure, density. So if you are dividing this volume, there is a system into two part. What happened to the mass in the sense the mass become a 1 by 2 of mass of the original in a one compartment, and another compartment you have a 1 by 2 mass. Similarly, 1 by 2 volume in the first compartment, then the second compartment. The remaining properties, the temperature, pressure, and density, is not at all changed. The compartment 1 and 2 or A and B are same. This type of properties are said to be intensive property, and the mass and volume is depending upon the entire things. It's varying with division, that is based on the mass or volume, it's varying. So these things are extensive property. Some of the extensive properties are total mass, total volume, total momentum. So intensive property, temperature, pressure, and density. So here most of the time the primary properties are considered is the density. The based on density you have a specific volume, then specific gravity. So we can see the other properties in details. The density is the extensive properties per unit mass are called specific specific properties. So the specific properties most of the times used in the calculation. Suppose if you want to represent an 1000 kg or 7800 kg per metric cube density of steel into small number, you can take a specific parameter per mass or etc. Then the fluid first property is the fluid is treated as a continuous one. Why you have to take as a continuous in the sense, if you are taking any fluid and adding any of the soluble solid or some other liquid with that one, what happen? It will go and occupy the in between molecules of the fluid. Suppose the volume is not at all changed, we can assume that the fluid molecules are not continuous. So if it is not continuous, the problem solving is very difficult. So if you are adding sugar or salt in a water, what happen? The volume is not at all going to be changed. The actual happening is the sugar molecules or salt molecules will occupy the gap in between the water molecules. So we have a holes. We have a holes in that one. That is, that holes is in a nano level. So the nano level holes are omitted. We are treating that fluid domain is a continuous one. That is a continuum principle. The continuum principle is given by some Knudsen number. The Knudsen number is mean free length between the molecules and the total length. So here the size of the atoms. So the example given here is oxygen molecules. The oxygen molecules, the diameter is 3 into 10 to the power of minus 10. Then the number of molecules in millimeter cube volume is given by 3 into 10 to the power of 16. If you're comparing the diameter of the oxygen molecule and the occupying intensity, that is 3 into 10 to the power of 16 molecules in small volume. So if you're comparing this molecule diameter and the occupying capacity, we can treat this one as continuous in this area. Have another small voids that is in the level of 10 to the power of minus 10 or in the Armstrong level. So in the conditions we can say that is in a continuous one, that is in a continuum principle. Then the state in the sense, suppose the air molecules are a system. The system is here, the system is depicted by the properties of the system. If it is an incompressible, the two parameters are enough to describe its state. If the state is changing, the parameter, either the temperature or pressure or volume or a density, is going to be changed. In a closed system, the mass is kept as a constant. So that is a state postulate. So then properties of density. Density is the basic parameter as defined as a mass per unit volume. So the reverse of that density is specific volume. It is defined as volume per unit mass. So I have to take this as the primary parameter. So if you are going for an fluid, the density is changed, the pressure as well as other parameters is going to be changed. Or a small change of density will create a pressure wave on the system. So even in the penstock, if you're closing the wall, certainly what happened, the rarefied waves will be propagate. So this pressure wave will damage the system. Then based on this only you can find out the compressibility coefficient as well as the expansion coefficient, that is the volume and the density. So these primary factors, properties of density as well as the specific volume. Then based on this one, the density may be sometimes here the 1000 kg per meter cube for a water. So if you want to represent in terms of comparing with a standard fluid, that is density of the particular domain, particular fluid divided by density of the standard fluid. The standard fluid here taken as a water. If you're taking that one, you can get a small number, that is 1 or less than 1 or a higher than 1. That is specific gravity or a relating density. That is the ratio of the particular substance to the density of the some standard substance. Here the standard substance is water. I have to take on water. Based on that water, the entire fluid mechanics is treating the incompressible fluid, that is water. Normally all the comparisons are based on the water also. So the relative density or specific property is less than or higher than the density of the water. You can say either it may float or sink. Okay. Some of the specific gravity of the materials are given here. So here the water is 1 because water is taken as a standard weight, so that value is 1. The blood is higher density than water, so it is coming at 1.06. Seawater also higher density than normal water, so the density is. So what happened in these things? These from this one we can give, if the density is less than 1 or higher, lighter than water, and thus they would float on the water. So the opposite is, suppose the specific gravity is greater than 1, it will be sink in the water. Then the one more parameter is a specific weight or weight density. That is, this density is multiplied by gravitational acceleration g. You can get the weight, that is the density is mass per volume, that is mass into g. You can get the weight based on the weight per unit volume, that is given as a specific density. You can use this parameter to find out some of the values of the problems. So here some volume is given, system, that system having a property of pressure 100 kilopascal, temperature 25 degrees C. The working medium is air. Then the volume is given as 4 meter into 4 meter into 6 meter into 5 meter. The dimensions of the system is given. Volume is 4 into 624 into 5 120 metric cube. Then the question is find out the density, specific gravity, and mass of the air. So here the values is given. So we know that the gas equation equal to PV equal to RT. That V is a specific volume. The specific volume is nothing but a 1 by rho. So the P by rho equal to RT, or rho equal to P by RT. So here the R is a gas constant. The gas constant is 0.287 kilopascal meter cube per kg Kelvin. Otherwise, in terms of kilojoule, you have kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Then temperature is 25 degrees C. So normally all the calculations are based on the Kelvin temperature. So you have to convert this into, because the gas constant is given in Kelvin, so you have to convert this temperature into Kelvin terms. 25 plus 273.1 by Kelvin. So the pressure is, as usual, given as 100 kilopascal. So here you are taken a kilopascal. Why? Because the gas constant is given in kilopascal. So I have to check all the unit consistency in the equations, or whatever the formula you are going to use for finding the answer. So the density is given by 1.17 kg per meter. Once the density is calculated, we know the definition for a specific gravity. The specific gravity is nothing but the density of the particular substance divided by density of the water. So specific gravity is given by density of the particular working medium, that is air, divided by the density of water. So that is 0.0017. Then the mass we can calculate. Density is known. The density is nothing but mass divided by volume. So mass equal to rho into V. So volume is, the dimension is given, so you have to multiply the dimension. So that is 120 meter cube, 120 meter cube. Then the density is already found. So if you are multiplying this thing, you can get the mass 140 kg. Then I have to go for an pressure, the saturation pressure and vapor pressure. So each water surface or water may evaporate, or it may be go as another phase change. So in that case, I have to consider the pressure terms. The saturation pressure is at a temperature, given temperature, pressure at which pure substance change phases is called the saturation. It's changing from either liquid to vapor at that pressure. At that pressure is called as a saturation pressure. In a given temperature, each if the temperature is varying, the saturation pressure also going to be varying. This example is now cooker. So at a high temperature, the boiling, the saturation will increase. So now vapor pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by its vapor in phase equilibrium with its liquid at a given temperature. At a given temperature, what is the phase equilibrium? That is its vapor domain and the liquid domain at the temperature. The particular temperature when the phase change occurs, that's a saturation. Then the vapor pressure is at a given temperature, the equilibrium pressure, phase equilibrium pressure. So the both the things are same for pure conditions. That is, vapor pressure is a property of pure substance and turns out to be identical to saturation pressure P suffix saturation of the liquid. That is P suffix P equal to P suffix sat. So I have to go further in the vapor pressure and saturation pressure. So sometimes we have a small sounds in the flow systems. It will be like a small bursting of other things like bubbles, etc. These things are because of the variation of saturation pressure and pressure vapor in the systems. It's creating a bubbles and distracting at any times. So it will be creating some sounds. So there is a possibility of liquid pressure in liquid flow system dropping below the vapor pressure at some locations and resulting in unplanned vaporizations. So this may happen in the systems. So this unplanned vaporization will create a troubling in the hydraulic systems or in a fluid machineries. That is depending on cavitation. The vapor bubbles that is called cavitation bubbles since they form cavities in the liquid. That is the bubble in the sense of the vacuum. This is not occupied with a working medium, either in a liquid or a fluid, any fluid domain. So collapse as they are swept away from the low pressure regions may collapse from low if you are swapping from low pressure region, generating highly destructive, extremely high pressure waves. This phenomenon, which is a common cause for dropping in performance and even erosion of impeller blades, is called a cavitation. The cavitation is important consideration while designing the hydraulic turbines and pumps. So we can given a different energy forms. That is, the cavitation is main in the hydraulic turbines and pump design. Then what are the energies associated with the flowing systems? So the basic energies are kinetic energy. So system is flowing or motion. So in the first class we have seen fluid mechanics, then a statics, kinematics, dynamics. So if it is moving in the sense, it has a kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is expressed in half m v squared by 2. So here the kinetic energy is expressed as a specific quantity. So that's not v squared by 2. The another one more energy is a potential energy. Suppose the water stored at a high altitude or from the datum, it is stored at some places in the sense it may having a potential energy because of its virtual height rise that is given by mgh. Here the mgh is total potential energy. This one is gz, that is per unit mass. That's a specific quantity. Then you have one more energy is flow energy. The flow energy is associated with the flowing system. Now, whatever the fluid you have stored, it has some internal energy. Internal energy. The same thing is flowing. You can get the flow energy. Until that, it have only the internal energy only. So in the stationary fluid, you have an energy U only. Suppose if it's moving in the sense, it has an energy that is we can say that is na enthalpy. That's the enthalpy is content of internal energy plus the flowing energy. The flowing energy is P by rho. So the enthalpy equation is normally U plus P. P, the P is a specific volume. Specific volume is nothing but 1 by rho. So P by rho. So the U is an internal energy and then P by rho is a flow energy. So the flowing system having a this type of energy. Then for a simple system, the total energy, simple compressible system, the energy, total energy is given by internal energy, kinetic energy plus potential energy. Suppose the system is moving. Suppose the system is moving in the sense the total energy, the flowing system, total energy is given by flow work or flow energy plus the energy of the simple system. The energy of the simple system is already U plus kinetic energy, that is internal energy plus kinetic energy plus potential energy, as is given by P by rho plus E, that's equal to H plus kinetic energy plus potential energy, or H plus V square by 2 plus G jet. Then, if the change of volume and density, how the system is affected, we can see in the next line. The coefficient of compressibility is introduced. The K, the coefficient of compressibility is, that is change in pressure divided by change in volumetric strain. That is the volumetric strain at a constant temperature. Constant temperature. So why here the negative symbol is coming? A system having a fixed volume. Suppose the volume is changed, the volume is going to be decreased. Volume is going to be decreased. That is compressed in the sense here the compressibility only we are seeing. Compressed in the sense volume is changed. That's giving a decrease represents a negative symbol. At the same time, if you are going for the density, because the specific volume is related with the density, the 1 by the inversal relation is density. So that is going to be increased for the same mass. Suppose you have a 1 meter cube volume, 1 kg, 1 kg. So 1 by 1, that is the density. Suppose the volume is decreased by 0.8 meter cube. The density is, as usual, mass is not changed because it's a closed system. So mass is 1 kg. Volume is now decreased to 0.8. 1 divided by 0.8. We can get some around 1.25. So that density is increasing. So the coefficient of compressibility is expressed in terms of volume strain as well as the density strain change, one having a negative symbol, another one having a positive symbol. Okay, that is a coefficient of compressibility. So if you are using for finite terms, finite changes conditions, we can say the K equal to minus del P, the change of pressure divided by change in volume by volume, specific volume. Similarly, in terms of density. So the opposite one is the density change and volume change. Here we have a density change. Compressibility is because of the density change. Normally we have a volumetric strain. The volumetric strain is not much interested in fluid because in terms of density we are going to see. So in that one, the change in small density will affect the fluid system. It will be creating a water hammer like a problems. So the water hammer is a one problem associated with because of change density in a liquid. So this occurs when a liquid in a piping network encounters abrupt flow restriction, such as closing valve, and is locally compressed. The acoustic waves that are produced strikes of pipe surfaces, bends, and valves as they propagate and reflect on the pipe, causing the pipe to vibrate and produce a familiar sounds. This is a Warhammer. This is because of a small density change. The compressibility coefficient that's represented in terms of density. So the volume is also we have, but here important given is for a density. So how to arrest this one or avoid these type of problems? You have a water hammer arresters. The volumetric, that is water hammer arresters have some volumetric chamber containing either a bellows or piston to absorb the shock. So in the hydroelectric power generation station, when stop having such a problem, if you are closing or regulating the flow in the hydraulic turbine, you have to close the valve or open the valve to increase or decrease the flow rate at the time the water hammer is possible. That is avoided by using a surge tower. The other pipelines, a closed hydraulic accumulator tank may be used. Then the opposite of the compressibility factor one is expansibility. Once compressed in the sense, there is a possibility of expansions also. So we can say that expansions effect is a volume expansivity a coefficient of volume expansion. So here the same thing beta, like bulk model is scale. Here the compressibility factor K is given in the previous one. Here beta, that is the at a given pressure, what is the volumetric strain and change in temperature. Because of temperature, the expansion is happening. The pressure is kept constant. Here, the volume is increased, so there is a positive. At the same time, volume is increased in the sense the density is going to be reduced or negative impact. So that's given as a negative things. Those are minus 1 by rho into dou P by dou T at constant pressure. For finite terms, it is represented by del V by V by del T. So in terms of density, del rho by rho as del T. So here on the large value of beta for fluid means large change in density with temperatures and produce beta del T represents the fraction of volume change for a given temperatures. So we can find out that one using a density formula. So here the rho infinity is a free stream density. So minus the particular domain density divided by density of the particular point or domain divided by free stream temperature minus at a particular point temperatures. So using that one, you can find out the compressible. There's no volume expansivity beta. So these things are going to affect the flow systems and the velocity. So the velocity is given in terms of the Mach number in a compressible system as well as in the incompressible also. So the Mach number is physically defined as the ratio of inertial force to elastic force. So in a normal colloquial, the definition of the Mach number is the ratio of actual speed, the particular domain or in a fluid speed divided by the air sound speed at a particular conditions. So there's a ratio of actual speed of the fluid or an object or in a still fluid to the speed of sound in the same fluid at the same condition. The Mach number is given by V by C. The V is a fluid velocity, C is a sound velocity at the same temperature. So here, if the Mach number is less than 1.3, we can approximate that fluid domain is incompressible. Since the effects of compressibility are in the expansivity is not significant in the 1 by 3 cases, but that is 0.33 Mach number. The 0.33 Mach number in the sense the compressibility effect is not significant. Once the values exceed these values, the compressibility effect is we have to consider that one density change. Suppose Mach number is 5.5 or 1, even 2. That is sonic or a hypersonic condition. The sonic condition in the sense the Mach number is 1. So more than 1 in the sense that is supersonic. Then above 5 you can say hypersonic. Like that in the sonic and supersonic conditions, what happen, the compressibility effect is very much. So that thing is based on the Mach number. So there's one way to represent the fluid velocity and the effect of compressibility, and it may be treated as a compressible or incompressible. Then another parameter, important parameter is viscosity. The viscosity is the internal resistance of fluid motion, and it is a force, internal resistance given to the fluid flow. Viscosity is normally also said to be a fluidity, this property of fluidity, that is how easily it flows. Suppose this fluid is not flowing easily, it has a high viscosity. Flowing easily has a less velocity, less viscosity. So you have a viscosity parameter. So the viscosity is happen because of the layer moving from one to another, that is in between a plate we are treating a number of layer of fluid layers are arranged. So one, the bottom plate is fixed and the top plate is moving with some velocity v because of the force what happened to the each layer of fluids on the in between system. So here this like a shear. One is fixed, one plate is fixed, and the another plate is moving. So you have a shear force. The shear force is given by force divided by area. Area. So the another name is a drag force. That is, the drag force is acting in the same direction. That is, the force a flowing fluid exert on the body in the flow direction is called drag force. That is tau equal to, that is shear force equal to F by A. So here what happened? This is divided into number of layers. So the fluid having an internal friction between one layer to another layer, the top plate is moving at a velocity v. The top layer attached with the fluid domain will move as the same velocity, that time free velocity. After that, already the one layer is giving a frictional resistance or resistance to the another layer. So the second layer won't travel at the same velocity of the top layer. So the velocity is decreasing. Again, the next layer and the previous layer having some internal friction, force, drag force, what happened? The next layer, then the third layer will not travel on the same speed of the second layer. So that velocity is decreasing. This is a velocity representation. Velocity representation, that's a vector plot. Then the next layer like that. The bottom layer, the bottom layer is not at all going to move. The velocity is 0 because the velocity is goes on decreasing. The bottom layer, you have a sum of the fluid molecules or fluid particles are stick on the surface that has a 0 velocity because of all the upper layers giving flow resistance or a drag force that is reduced to 0 velocity. So the velocity profile is very in this angle. So you can formulate a velocity profile equations. So there's a y direction, there's an x direction. The velocity is varying and the free stream u equal to capital V. So the velocity along the y direction u of y equal to this y by L into capital B. Suppose if you are applying the boundary condition in the lower plate plus the upper plate you can get the first boundary condition lower plate u equal to 0 at y equal to 0. So if you are putting y equal to 0, y equal to 0, y equal to 0, what happened? The u of y equal to 0 into multiplying anything, you can get the 0. So the velocity is 0. If you are applying the upper boundary condition, you can get y equal to L because the two plates are departed by apart from L length. So L by L, we can get u of y equal to u of L equal to, that is velocity at a distance L equal to b. So these type of problems are asked in the particular thing. The end of that one, we can see some problems. So this is a velocity profile equations. Then if you are differentiating, you can get du by dy equal to b by y, b by L. This is a velocity gradient. So based on the velocity gradient, you can formulate equations. The equations of stress, that is shear stress equation. The shear stress equation is mu into du by dy. Because the force is varying, because of this velocity gradient, the proportionality constant is mu. The mu is a viscosity, that is coefficient of viscosity and dynamic viscosity and absolute viscosity. Absolute viscosity. That tau equal to nu by Newton per meter square. So this is a rate of deformation. The rate of deformation is linearly proportional to shear stress are called Newtonian fluids. Based on that one, they are defining the different fluid. So here the air shear stress is very less for getting a large rate of deformation. So this value is, that is freely deformable air. So this value is high, that is rate of deformation is high for a less force. That is here what will happen, this is free to move, intermolecular force is 1, you can see. Then the water having a normal deformation rate for a given force. Then oil, if you're taking that one, oil, so for a deformation, getting a deformation, I have to give a more force because the resistance is very high for flow. The flow resistance is high in a oil, then less water, then very less for an air or a gaseous molecule. Okay. The unit viscosity is given by Newton second per meter square, kg per meter second. Normally the viscosity is represented in terms of other poise. The poise is nothing but 0.1 Pascal. Then here the example of the water viscosity is given at 20 degrees C. The water viscosity is 1.00 centipoise. So based on this, W equal to mu into d by dy, we can define the different types of fluids. We have a Pingham plastic, plastic, then Newtonian. It is, if it is linearly proportional, there's a Newtonian wave. Then dilated. Okay, so these are the different fluid domains: dilatant fluid, Newtonian fluid, zero, plastic fluid, Pingham plastic. The rate of deformations are varying with the shear stress. The dilatant what happens, the viscosity increase with the rate of deformation. So the zero plastic are shear thinning fluids that are less viscous and is shear harder. So such a there's an examples is paints, polymer solution and fluids with suspended particles. Then the Pingham plastic is like a paste, that is shear stress for a finite shear stress and thus behave as a solid. The toothpaste can resist a finite shear stress and thus behave a solid, but deform continuously when shear stress exceeds. So in the closed container, it's like a solid. If you are pressing, it will be flow. That is now the pressure and the shear force is more, so it's like acting like a liquid or in a deforming condition. Again, if you are giving a excess shear, it is deform very high rate. That is an finger rate. Then the one more parameter is the kinematic viscosity. Based on the dynamic viscosity or an absolute viscosity or coefficient of viscosity, we can define the kinematic viscosity. The kinematic viscosity is nu equal to mu by rho, that is dynamic or an absolute viscosity divided by density of the particle. This one is represented in terms of stroke. Stroke is 1 centimeter square per second or 0.001 meter square by second. The unit is either meter square by second or a stroke. Stroke is centimeter square by second. So this viscosity is varying in fluid domain, that is in a gas as well as the liquid or water. So what happened in this one, you have a different behavior of water, liquids and gases. While increasing the temperature, the viscosity of the gases are increasing. The viscosity of the liquid. If you're taking a water, if you're heating, it will give you a vapor. Vapor is easily flowing compared than water. So what happened here? The cohesive force is broken. The, the viscosity is caused by the cohesive force between the molecules in the liquids. So the cohesive force is broken, so it will be flowing easily. But in the gaseous, viscosity is because of molecular collisions. Once the temperature is increased, the molecular collision is increasing. So it will be randomly moving here and there within that one, that is rapidly moving. That happen in the sense the viscosity is increasing. So there's an experimental values mu equal to a 10 power p by t minus c. The constants are experimentally defined, that is derived, found out and then derived. There's one example of particular liquids. Then the gases. Also the mu is a into t power of divided by 1 plus b by t. These values are experimentally determined, that is used for finding the viscosity. So the next, the viscosity and the kinematic viscosity, then change in velocity gradients, the deformation rates are the important in this one. The another one is the surface tension. The surface means, suppose if you are pouring a water or liquid on the leaf, some of the leaf is not storing or getting the water on the surface. Some of the leaves absorbing some water because of the surface tension. Then if it is not attachable in the sense, if your boring is not continuously flowing, it form a droplet like a structures. So it's giving a shape drop size on a spherical or a droplet like a shape because of the surface tensions. So then the next one, that is the first one, is the drops of water bedding up on a leaf. Because of surface tensions forming a small droplets and leaving that one. The next one is the water strider, a small insect sitting on the water. What happened because of the sitting? So the water surface may deform. So we can see that one in the second picture, but in the third picture that is taken from the Celeron experimental setup. So the shadow is here. Then the legs, wherever the legs are contacting on the surface, you have a deformation. Deformation, that is because of a surface tension. So here, the example is liquid droplets behave like a small balloon filled with a liquid. And the surface of the liquid acts like a stretched elastic membrane under tension. The surface is like act as a stretched elastic membrane. The pulling force that causes because the droplets is forming in the sense that it's like an elongated pulling in one side. The pulling force that causes this tension acts parallel to the surface and is due to the attractive forces between the molecules of the liquid. So if you're taking the bigger water, the top surface in the first class, so we have specified the air or a gaseous thing is not forming a free surface, but the liquid is forming a free surface. So this is because of the attractive force between the molecules of the liquid. The magnitude of this force per unit length, the attractive force per unit length is called surface tension, a coefficient of surface tension that is represented by sigma suffix s. The unit of this one is normally Newton per meter. Then the same thing is you can express in terms of surface energy, that is given as Newton meter per meter square, that is joule per energy, that is energy terms per meter square, joule per meter square. How the surface and attractive forces are acting. If you're taking the figure, if you're considering any molecules within the systems, the forces acting on the molecules in all the directions is balanced. Suppose in the top surface, in the free surface, you have molecules of unbalanced forces. The attractive force applied by the gas molecules above are usually very small. Here, the interaction between the gas molecules with this one is very low. Therefore, the net attractive force, the bottom is more, the top is less. So then acting on the surface molecule at the surface liquid, which tends to pull the molecules on the surface towards the interior of the liquid. It will be pulled in the inner side of the things. Now, what is the formula? You can consider that the same thing as a liquid film and pulling this one. You can find out what are the forces acting on the systems. So the same fluid domain is taken as in the frame. That is wire frame, surface of film. You have a surface of film. Then the definition, as per the definition, surface tension is the force divided by length. Force divided by length. Why are we putting 2b in the sense? This is exposed by two sides. Both the sides of thin film are exposed to air, and thus the length along which the surface tension acts in this case is 2p. So the sigma is given by F by 2p. So here the surface tension or coefficient of surface tension is given as sigma. Then the same thing is some domain is moving from one place to another place because of this force F. So the due to that force, some system is moving. So you can represent it in terms of work. Work is nothing but now force into displacement. Displacement. So the displacement is the distance traveled from one point to initial to final. So the work is given by force into distance as equal to F into del x, the change in distance. So both the things are same. That is the surface tension as well as the work done because of this force is same. So if you are equating, you can get substituting these things. F in terms of sigma b, you can get sigma s into area. The surface tension of the liquid in general decreases with temperature and becomes zero at critical point. So this surface tension becomes zero at critical point in the sense the phase change point. That is, there is no phase change in the sense you have a attractive force in the downward direction or in a system. If it is converting into another phase, the liquid is converted as a immediately converted as a vapor, in the sense in that place the surface tension is 0. So already the surface tension can be defined as a work done per unit increase in the surface area of liquids. The same thing is given in terms of sigma S into A. Here the 2B into galaxies area, change in area. So the same thing is applied for bubbles and droplets in the systems. So here two examples are taken. Then one is a droplet or a air bubbles. Here the surface is a length is 2 pi r. That is only 2 pi r, the surface length. And the surface length into sigma s is giving a force, surface tension force. Then the opposite side, the change in pressure, that is normally the outer minus inner or inner minus outer. That is depending upon the system. There will be change in pressure is giving some force. That is pressure multiplied by pi r square. You can get the reverse force. So that is balanced by that surface tension force. So these both are equal. So here the curved interface, that is curved interface indicates a pressure difference across the interface with pressure being higher on the concave side. Based on the pressure increase or decrease, it may be a concave or convex. Then the next one is soap bubbles. If you're taking a soap bubbles, the soap bubbles, the interior is hollow. Then the edges are forming a thin thin surface. So here the circumference is 2 times of 2 pi r. So the surface tension force is given by 2 into 2 pi r into sigma s. That is balanced by the change in pressure into area, that is this pressure force. So if you are equating these things, you can get the consulting equation for a droplet as well as the soap bubble. So both the things, the forces are surface tension force as well as the pressure force are same. If you're equating the inside force minus outside force equal to 2 sigma s by r. Sometimes if you're putting this d by 2, you can get 4 sigma s by d. So soap bubbles, if you are equating, you can have a 2 into 2 by r into sigma, that is 4 pi r sigma. Here pi r cancel, you can get del p bubble equal to pi minus p naught equal to 4 sigma s by r or 8 sigma s by d. So increase in surface energy of the droplet during this differential expansion process for a small changes process, we can get surface work, small change surface work equal to given by sigma s into dA. That is the surface energy change. That is sigma s into dA is given by dA is given by pi r square. It's giving a 8 pi r sigma s dr. The expansion work, again the business surface energy things, the expansion work is force into displacement, as the force is given by del p into pressure into area. So into dr you can get 4 pi r 4 pi r square del p into dr. So equating the two expression in the sense, you can get, if you are equating these two, you can get the same thing 2 sigma s by r. If you are replacing r by d by 2, 4 sigma s by d. So equating the surface tension force and the pressure difference, you can get the sigma s value or relation between the pressure change as well as this thing. Then sigma surface tension coefficient of surface tension as well as this thing. Similarly, the surface energy and expansion equating, you can get the same thing. You can cross correlate I cross verify these things in the next one is an capillary effect. Capillary effect is based on the surface tension. So here the surface tension is the attractive force. Because of the attractive force only, surface tension is happening, the pulling or pushing. So here, because of that surface tension, if you are inserting a small tube in the liquid, either the liquid column may be rise or fall in the particular things. So based on that one, the capillary effect is defined. Because of the consequence of surface tension, capillary effect is coming, which is the rise or fall of liquid in a small diameter tube inserted in the liquid. Such narrow tubes or confined flow channels are called capillaries. So the small narrow tubes are capillaries. Here the small one is capillaries. So the curved free surface is meniscus. Meniscus. Depending upon the strength of the capillary effect is quantified by the strength of capillary effect is quantified by the contact or wetting angle. There is an angle defined between the tangent and the surface mixed with the solid surface at the contact point. So there is an angle that the tangent to the liquid surface makes with a solid surface. Here the angle is less than 90 degree. So the mercury is more than 90 degree. So depending upon the wetting angle, the strength may be varied. So if you're balancing these things, that is, this is because of the rising and tipping is suppression is because of the molecular interaction, the cohesive force and the adhesive force parameters. So mainly the capillary effect is defined based on the cohesive and adhesive force parameters. Here the water molecules are more strongly attracted to the glass molecules than they are attracted by the water molecules. So it's attaching with the glass molecules, then it's rising as the water tends to rise along the glass tube. But the opposite is in the case of mercury. The mercury is suppression, that is, level is decreased because the attraction is with the mercury particles only. So it's suppressing. So here you can draw the free body diagrams for this rising or suppressing columns. Based on that one free body diagram, you can balance and finding the how much rise or fall happen in a capillary effect system. So the weight of the liquid column is given by WW equal to M into G. So M is given by rho into density of the fluid into volume. So you can have a W equal to mg equal to rho Vg. So the volume of that particular one is given by the cross-sectional area pi r square, then the height, because this is a small tube, the tube having a cross-sectional area of circle, then the height is given as h or whatever it may be, L or something. So rho g pi r square h. And equating the W is acting in this one, the surface tension force is acting in certain angle phi. So we have a free body diagram. If you are drawn free body diagram, here you have a W in the downward direction. In the pi angle, you have a 2 pi r sigma x. Sigma suffix s. That is a surface tension coefficient. Then if you are resolving that 2 pi r sigma s, one may be in a horizontal direction. The horizontal direction force is given as 2 pi r sigma s sine pi. Then the vertical force is 2 pi r sigma s cos pi. If you are equating balancing W with the vertical component, W equal to the surface force, that is, the W is already formed, rho g into pi r square h, then as equated by 2 pi r sigma s into cos pi. If you are equating this one, you can get h equal to, if you are cancelling other things, h equal to 2 sigma s divided by rho g r cos Why? Based on that one, the rise or fall of the system may be asked. Or sometimes the rise or fall will be given cos pi also you can find out. Or sometimes the pi also given, rise or fall also given, the surface tension of the particular fluid or liquid will be given. Then you have to find out the other parameter. What is the size of the capillary tube you can use? You can have questions like that. So you can see a small question in this one. Here the diameter of the glass tube is 0.6 mm. It's dipped in the water. The water condition is 20 degrees C. At 20 degrees C, the surface tension of water is 0.073 Newton per meter. Normally, the contact angle between the water and glass is approximately 0 degree. So, determine the capillary rise of water in a tube. So that's given by h equal to 2 sigma s divided by rho g r and cos by. The sigma is 0.073732 into 0.073 divided by density is 1000. The normally water here the water density is not given for water. You have to know this density is 1000 kg per meter cube. The G also a standard value 9.81. So the remaining R is given, that is 0.6, diameter is given, so divided by 2, you can get 0.3 mm, that's in the mm, so you have to convert into meter, you can get the H equal to 0.5 centimeter. Then a few questions from a gate domain. So these are the questions asked in the previous pattern. The first question is an incompressible fluid with a kinematic viscosity 7.4 into 10 to the power minus 7 meters square per second. Specific gravity is 0.88. Is held between two parallel plates. If the top plate is moved with a velocity of 0.5 meter per second, while the bottom one is held stationary, the fluid attains a linear velocity profile in a gap of 0.5 mm between these plates. The shear stress in Pascal on the surface of the top plate is what? That is a question. So if you are referring that viscosity learning, the viscosity learning, you have a same problem. So here, this is a viscosity. The same type of problem is given. One plate is bottom, another plate is top. Between that, have a fluid domain. This L value is given as 0.5. Okay, the top velocity is given as 3. Top velocity is 0.5 meter per second. The gap is 0.5 mm. Then the kinematic viscosity is given. Specific gravity is given. Specific gravity is given. So from this one, you have to find out the values. That is shear stress in Pascal. That is force divided by A. So the A other things are given. So force is not directly calculatable. So I have to move the next one. The next one is the shear force is given by mu du by dy. So du by dy are mu for a finite thing tau equal to mu into u by y. So u is the velocity. Velocity is given 0.5 meter per second. Y equal to given y. That's the tau thing. The y is 0.5 mm. So you have to find out the mu value in order to find the shear stress in the Pascal. So in the previous one, we are relating the kinematic viscosity with the absolute viscosity. Kinematic viscosity and absolute viscosities are correlated by kinematic viscosity is given mu equal to mu by rho. Mu by rho. So kinematic viscosity is known, you can easily find out the dynamic viscosity or absolute viscosity. But density is not given. But in the density definition, we have a density definition mass per unit volume. Unit volume. Then again, we are define the specific gravity. So the specific gravity and density definitions, you can easily find out the specific gravity definition. You can easily find out the value of rho. So here, kinematic viscosity is given. Specific gravity is 0.88. So the density of the fluid is 0.88 into 1000 standard density of the liquid, that is water. So 880 is the density of this particular fluid. Then the kinematic viscosity is mu is given. Mu is given. So mu equal to 7.8, 7.4 into 10 to the power minus 7 into 880. 880. So the dynamic viscosity is, you can easily form. So the dynamic viscosity is formed in the sense, you can apply the equation W equal to mu u by y. W equal to mu u by y. Here the solving is given density is specific gravity into density of water 880 kg per second. The kinematic viscosity, from the kinematic viscosity, dynamic viscosity mu equal to 7.4 into 10 to the power minus 7 into 880. So that dynamic viscosity is formed. Then W equal to mu into u by y. So mu value is formed, that's equal to 6.512 into 10 to the power minus 4. Then u value and y value is substituted. U value is 0.5 meter per second. Then the y value is 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. That's given in mm. This value is given in mm. So it's converted into meter. So you can get 0.651. 0.651 is here. That is, they are asking in terms of Pascal. There's another problem. Two incompressible viscous fluids having the same densities but different viscosities are contained between two infinite horizontal parallel plates, 2 mm apart, as shown in figure. The distance between top and bottom plate is 2 meter. The bottom plate is fixed. The same cases, bottom plate is fixed, and the upper plate moves to the right with a constant velocity of 3 meter per second. This is moving in the 3 meter per second velocity. With the assumptions of Newtonian fluid, steady and fully developed laminar flow with zero pressure gradient in all directions. Okay, the conditions are representing d square u by dy square equal to 0. So that is indirectly given. Okay. So the gradient, the momentum equation simplified to if the dynamic viscosity of the lower liquid, that is the bottom liquid, dynamic viscosity is twice the upper liquid, upper fluid. Then the viscosity at the interface is what? Viscosity of velocity at the interface is what? That is asked. So here the given conditions are mu2 equal to 2 mu1. Then the condition is d square u by dy square equal to 0. Then the top velocity is given. Distance between these two plates are given. So you have to go for a normal walk. This is a viscosity equation only. So the viscosity equation, you have to find out the velocity in terms. But the given condition is this, so you have to integrate this one by first time. So you can get du by dy equal to c1, some constant. Again, if you are integrating this one, you can get u1 cy plus, so u equal to c1y plus c2. That's an equation. Then we can apply the conditions. Here, what is the condition in the sense? From the top plate to middle, and from the bottom plate to middle, the shear force is constant. Shear is constant. The shearing equation is, as usual, tau equal to mu into change in velocity, change in velocity, tau equal to mu into du by dy. That is change in du is nothing but change in velocity, dy is nothing but change in distance. The condition that depicted is the shear stress at the interface of the two fluid domain is constant. So the distance between interface and the top plate is 1 meter, and the distance between the bottom plate and, so this is divided into two, from bottom plate to middle as now 1 meter, top plate to middle you have an 1 meter. So both the cases the distance is 1 meter, dy is 1 meter. Then the velocity change and the mu, viscosity that is equivalent to same. Both the cases is equivalent. So if you are using this one, that is for an bottom plate, viscosity is mu2, then the velocity is v2, the final velocity minus initial velocity, then the distance between interface and bottom plate is 1 meter, as equivalent to, that shear stress equivalent to the shear stress of the top one, produced, that is mu1 into the velocity of top, that is top and the middle. Okay, the distance is 1 meter. So here if you are representing vi is the interface velocity, v is the moving velocity. So the v2 is what? The interface velocity. v2 is the interface velocity regarding the bottom plate. Then here the v1 is what? Interface velocity because of the top plate. So if you are substituting this one here, the bottom velocity is 0 because there's a fixed plate is equal to 0. Then v2 is a interface velocity, vi is also your interface velocity. The v is top plate velocity that's moving in the direction. So that's equal to some 3 meter per second. If you're substituting these values and the correlation between the viscosity of bottom plate with top plate, that is viscosity of the bottom plate is 2 times of the viscosity of the top plate, so 2 mu1 into v2 is nothing but the interface velocity vi, then the initial velocity is already 0, the bottom is 0, the distance between interface and bottom plate is 1. Similarly, in the right hand side, mu1, the velocity of the top plate is 3 meter, the interface is vi. So if you are equating this one, you can get 2 vi equal to 3 minus vi. If you are bringing that one side, 3 vi equal to 3, or vi equal to the interface velocity is 1 meter per second. So interface velocity is 1, but the top velocity is 3 meter per second. The bottom velocity is 0. Based on that one, you can draw the velocity profile. The velocity profile is like this. The two plates are apart from 2 meter. The interface is 1 meter. At 1 meter, up to 1 meter, the velocity is 1 meter per second because of this mu2. So this is varying like this. After that, it's rising to 1 meter per second to 3 meter per second. So the value is suddenly raised by 2 meter per second. The profile is not a straight line for both the case, that is not a single straight line. It's up varying in a certain rate up to 1 meter. Again, it's varying in the another rate at the another fluid. Okay, so after that is we are saying that fluid properties. In the next class, we can see the fluid statics. Fluid statics. After that, we can see one chapter with one another. Okay, thank you. We can see in the next class.